Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today we're embarking on a journey into something we all do every single day, yet maybe don't think about enough. The very act of seeing.
Hmm.
But what if there are layers of perception, far beyond what our physical eyes show us?
Exactly. Our sources for this deep dive, they come from a pretty profound spiritual tradition, and they really challenge our everyday assumptions about vision.
Yep.
They offer a kind of roadmap, if you will, for transcending just ordinary sight
Hmm.
and discovering deeper truths, potentially even connecting with the divine.
Right, so it's not just sensory input.
No, it's seen as a potent spiritual tool.
Hmm.
These teachings guide us through a really profound exploration of how we can refine our perception.
Okay, so let's get started then. Our mission for this deep dive is to try and uncover how we can move from just observing the surface
Mm-hmm.
to perceiving the hidden essence of things.
Mm-hmm.
Even reaching a state of, well, non-seeing that, maybe paradoxically, reveals more.
Right.
And this journey, our sources suggest, it's pretty fundamental to knowing oneself first.
The first step.
Yeah, then connecting with the Creator, and ultimately knowing the Creator himself.
Yeah.
Today, we're really zeroing in on that foundational first step,
Mm-hmm.
understanding ourselves,
Yeah.
mainly through the incredible transformative potential of our sight.
Mm-hmm.
So our sources, they start by telling us there are two really fundamental ways to see.
Okay.
One is just seeing things that exist. What's real, tangible, concrete. In Hebrew, this is called kray.
Yes, right. The isness of things.
Exactly. But here's where it gets really profound.
Mm.
The other way involves transforming our vision, moving from just using the physical eye, a meaning eye, to perceiving something more like non-existence or nothingness.
And that's also a ain.
Yes. Strikingly, it's also pronounced a, but this one means nothing or absence.
That's fascinating. The same sound, but I versus
A
nothingness.
subtle but crucial distinction, yeah.
And what's really interesting here is how this, quite abstract concept
Mm.
is illustrated with something very concrete. Every day, even. The tzitzit, the fringes worn by some.
Right, the fringes.
Our sources explain that simply looking at these fringes can, through a specific process, lead one to remember the throne of glory.
Wow. Okay. But it's not just, boom, fringes to throne.
No, definitely not a direct leap. It's presented as a progressive site, like climbing a ladder of association.
Okay, like steps.
Exactly. You look at the blue thread called chalet,
Archdale.
which is meant to remind you of the deep blue of the sea.
Okay, blue thread. See, got it.
Then the sea, in turn, is like the boundless sky in Rakia.
See like the sky.
Mm-hmm. And the sky, finally, is compared to the kese hakabah, the throne of glory.
The throne of glory, often seen as the divine epicenter.
Something like that, yes.
Right.
The source point. And even if the blue thread isn't commonly used today or interpreted this way,
Right.
the principle of this progressive spiritual vision remains the key takeaway.
The principle of moving from concrete to abstract to the source.
Precisely. And that progression is crucial.
Hmm.
The sea, for instance, is often described as having no clear horizon.
Symbolizing boundlessness.
Exactly. It's a stepping stone, moving us from the concrete blue thread towards the limitless, from a specific object to an infinite idea.
Okay.
And the ultimate destination in this chain, the throne of glory, represents the very source from which all souls originate.
So this deep seeing in this it's an example.
Mhm.
It's really about looking past the physical object, the thread,
Mm-hmm.
to glimpse the source of the soul,
Yeah.
which comes from that spiritual non-existence that Adian.
You got it. It's about going beyond merely seeing what's positively created and tangible.
Right, seeing the unseen source through the seen object.
Exactly. And this idea of seeing past the physical to the unified,
Yeah.
which we glimpse with the tzitzit, it finds an even grander parallel in how our sources describe divine perception, particularly around Rosh Hashanah, the New Year.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, they describe two types of divine perception. One is where all of creation is remembered in a single collective glance, like everything at once.
A total overview.
Yes. And another where each individual passes before the creator, reviewed one by one, kind of like lambs being counted.
Okay, so a collective view and an individual view.
Right. But the deeper, more unified kind of seeing is that first one, perceiving everything at once, which effectively nullifies or dissolves the focus on individual specific sight.
That raises a really important question for us then.
What's that?
Well, if our physical eyes are naturally designed to see details, specifics, how can we possibly perceive the general, the unified.
Mhm.
It seems counterintuitive.
It does, and our sources actually touch on this, reminding us of that ancient, powerful idea, man cannot see me and live.
Right, that famous line.
It suggests that to see the general, the absolute unity, is in a way to see nothing in the conventional sense. It means dissolving the specific.
Like looking at a pointillist painting. Up close, it's just dots. But you step back, and the dots disappear into a whole image.
That's a great analogy. To see the general is to achieve that broader perspective where individual details, while still there, don't dominate your perception anymore.
Okay, that helps. So, to help us grasp this shift from specific to general even more,
Yeah.
our sources give another example, right? From the Talmud.
Yes, a rather intriguing one. It describes a sage carrying a bride on his shoulder during a procession, which sounds unusual.
Definitely sounds unusual.
But the text notes that it's permissible if she appears to him as a beam, like a single, undifferentiated object.
A beam, like a piece of wood, not a person with details.
Exactly. It's a powerful metaphor. The surface beauty of a person, or anything really, is often in its unique details, its differences.
Sure.
But when the sage sees the bride as a beam, he's consciously seeing her as one unified whole. He's not focusing on the individual elements of her beauty that might, stir inappropriate thoughts in that context.
Ah, I see. So it's about perceiving unity instead of particularity, a deliberate choice of perception.
Precisely. Transcending the particulars.
That's a fascinating twist. It
Mm.
really is like choosing to zoom out, seeing the forest, not the trees.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying this applies not just to, well, brides on shoulders, but to our own spiritual growth.
Yes. The deeper insight here, according to these sources, is that every spiritual ascent, every movement from one world or level of consciousness to another, is essentially a movement from particularity to a perception of unity.
Okay.
Think of, say, a father with 10 children. Individually, they're 10 distinct people.
Right.
But in their root, their source, they are one, they stem from the Father. Seeing them as his children is seeing a unity behind the diversity.
Okay, I get that. So bringing this back to the Sidzit example,
Mm-hmm.
the real ascent isn't about finding, like, my little spot on the throne of glory.
No, not primarily. It's about perceiving the unified source of all souls at the throne. That phrase, all created for my glory, is interpreted here as looking beyond oneself. If we only focus on where I am in the grand scheme, we haven't really reached that unified perception. It's about recognizing the collective source, not just our own individual piece.
That shifts the focus completely.
Mm.
From individual achievement to recognizing the whole.
Exactly.
It's remarkable how these really profound ideas then connect to such common everyday experiences,
Like what?
like watching a sunrise or a sunset. Why are people so universally drawn to that? There's something deeper than just, oh, pretty colors.
Absolutely. There's a profound stirring it creates. And the root of this fascination, our sources explain, is that these moments represent a point of, well, almost nullification of initial memory.
Nullification memory, what does that mean?
It connects back to that idea from age and you came, from nothingness. A sunrise represents the absolute beginning, the initial point, the pure ain before creation unfolded.
The ultimate fresh start.
Precisely. And this is why it moves us so deeply. The idea is that everything inherently longs for its source, its root.
Like a deep unconscious nostalgia.
You could say that. Like a child longing for their parents' home, or perhaps a bride for her husband's house. This is linked to the secret of teshuvah, spiritual return or repentance.
So our attraction to beginnings is really a longing to return to that pure state before all the, baggage we accumulate.
That's the idea. It's like hitting a mental reset button, allowing us to perceive with fresh eyes, even for a moment.
That makes perfect sense. It explains that deep, almost primal joy at the birth of a child, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about their future potential, but about their raw, pure beginning, their absolute newness.
Exactly. And it suggested this is also why natural springs, the very source of flowing water, often draw people. That origin point has an intrinsic pull.
The beginning, the source. Okay, what about the other end, the sunset?
Equally profound, according to these texts. It embodies the concept that the end is embedded in the beginning.
How so? The sun's going away. That seems like an end.
Well, from our limited perspective, yes. But the sun isn't truly setting, is it? It's just moving to another part of the world. It's concealed from our view, but not extinguished.
Ah, right. So the end we see isn't a true end.
Exactly. Which means that from an internal spiritual perspective, the beginning and the end are truly one, a complete circle.
From Ain you came and to Ain you go.
Precisely. Death itself, though physically often seen negatively, spiritually can represent a return to this aim, this essential state, revealing one's pure essence, free from external dominion or layers.
External dominion, like worldly concerns.
Yes. Our sources contrast this with external wisdom, or like a king's power, which is all about outward manifestation, control, influence.
Hmm.
But at the core, that essence revealed at the beginning or perhaps at the end. There is no external dominion. It just is.
So the joy in a baby, then, should ideally be for its being in its beginning, its pure essence.
Not just for what it will become or achieve outwardly.
Okay. So what's the key takeaway here for us, practically?
Well, this deep looking at sunrise and sunset, if we really engage with its spiritual meaning,
Yeah.
it can help us to nullify our ordinary fragmented sight,
Yeah.
to kind of quiet the noise of the particulars and open ourselves to the boundless, the source, the I.
A moment of resetting our perception.
Something like that, yes. And this theme of transcending physical limitations, it extends to other natural experiences too.
Like vast landscapes.
Exactly. People travel huge distances, spend a lot of money just to see breathtaking views.
Right. Panoramas, mountains, oceans.
And it's not just for the specific beauty of, say, one particular tree or a single mountain peak. It's the profound sense of unlimited sight they offer.
The openness. The lack of boundaries.
Precisely. A wall restricts our vision, it cuts us off. But a panoramic landscape breaks those boundaries.
So the deep meaning isn't just what you see.
But the freedom from restriction that seeing provides.
Okay.
And this, our sources suggest, leads to a profound sense of calmness, a more subtle, refined perception. It's about giving our sight the freedom to extend, to feel expansive.
That makes sense. The feeling of relief when you get out of a confined space into an open area. A psychic expansion.
Okay, so we have this expansive, unbounded sight, but then our sources also talk about almost the opposite, right?
Yes, an equally profound path, but through incredibly focused sight, concentrated seeing.
The idea of not looking right or left.
Right. And this isn't just about, avoiding forbidden sights, which is obviously an important spiritual practice in itself. But our sources explain it's also about preventing the dispersion of sight, bringing it back to a unified point.
Gathering the scattered rays of attention.
That's a good way to put it. The goal is to unify vision and reveal the single essential point within it.
So step one is simply avoid looking where you don't need to. Don't get distracted.
That's the basic level, yes, guarding the eyes. But the second, deeper step is to consciously focus on a positive point.
Okay. And this isn't just like keeping your eyes on the page when you're reading. Well, that's part of it. Like focusing on the main text of the Talmud, say, and not letting your gaze wander constantly to the commentaries on the side, that takes discipline.
Right, keeping focus.
But it goes much, much further. The ultimate expression of this focused seeing is said to be concentrating on a single word.
Wow.
A single letter. Or even a single dot.
A single dot. How?
Our sources mention the Vilna Gaon, the Gra, an immense 18th century sage.
Yes, heard of them.
He taught that the entire Torah, all of its wisdom, is hinted at in the very first verse of Genesis.
Okay.
And not just the verse, but down to the first word, Bereshit, in the beginning. And not just the word, but its first letter, the Hebrew letter Bet.
Okay, this is getting intense.
And not even just the letter, but the single dot within that letter, Bet.
Okay, now here's where it gets truly mind-bending.
Right. The Gra apparently said that by focusing absolutely, with complete concentration, on that single dot of the Bet in Bereshit, one could theoretically comprehend the entire Torah.
The whole thing, from one dot.
That's the claim. It's about reaching the absolute root, the aeon of sight, you might say, the seed point from which all understanding unfolds.
It's credible, the power of absolute focus.
Incredible, yes. And it raises a really important question for us, especially in the modern world.
How so?
Well, our sources, or rather, commentators applying these ideas today, highlight how contemporary electronic devices,
Phones, computers.
exactly, with
Yeah.
their constantly scrolling text, the flashing notifications, the rapid transitions between images and ideas, they actively work against this kind of focused perception. They inherently create dispersion, not concentration.
My attention span feels it.
Right. Compare that to the ancient idea of the Torah being engraved on the tablets. Static, unchanging, demanding focus.
A very stark contrast to today's dynamic, fleeting information stream.
And losing that fixed point, that ability to deeply concentrate, our sources would suggest, leads to a loss of deep perception.
Like trying to fill a bucket with a sieve, maybe? The information just flows through without being retained deeply.
That's a good analogy, yes. The capacity for deep seeing diminishes.
Okay, so we've covered expansive seeing, focused seeing. Now our deep dive brings us to another fascinating distinction.
Which is?
Not just positive seeing or negatively avoiding sights, but a third category, non-seeing.
Ah, like closing your eyes.
Well, yes, that's the common understanding, closing our eyes. But these sources suggest it's far more complex than just physically shutting your eyelids.
How so? Because you can still see things in your mind.
Exactly. Our sources explain that even with physically closed eyes, we can still see things internally.
Right. In our imagination, maybe in dreams, or when desires or worries replay in our minds.
Yeah. The external act doesn't always stop the internal vision.
Mm-hmm.
So this raises a really interesting question. How can we truly close our eyes, even when they are technically open?
Okay, how?
Well, one extreme example given is the Choza of Lublin. He was called the seer
The seer of Lublin, yeah.
because he reportedly covered his eyes for 7 years with a cloth.
7 years? Wow, why?
To deliberately cultivate a profound spiritual sight. And after this period, the story goes, he could see from one end of the world to the other.
Okay, that's definitely an extreme path, not for everyone.
Not at all. But the principle is what's interesting. By consciously denying external stimuli, he forced his inner vision to activate and expand.
Tapping into a form of perception far beyond the physical eye.
Right. It suggests our internal landscape can become a canvas for profound seeing when external distractions are truly minimized.
Okay, that makes sense as a principle. Are there less extreme ways discussed?
Yes, definitely. Our sources also discuss a practice of piety, or chasidhu,
Devotion.
which involves avoiding looking at anything that doesn't elevate the soul, even if it's not strictly forbidden by law.
So going beyond the letter of the law to protect one's inner state.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
this extends, interestingly, to avoiding gross or dirty things.
Physically dirty things, how does that affect spiritual sight?
Well, the idea presented is that just as, say, physical clutter can distract our physical vision,
Yeah.
a lack of cleanliness in our environment or even habits can create a kind of spiritual static. It subtly blurs our inner perception, making it harder to discern deeper truths.
Interesting. So physical cleanliness supports spiritual clarity.
That's the connection made, yes.
Yeah.
Cleanliness, both physical and spiritual, is presented as a way to refine our inner vision.
Okay.
And how does this translate for us? The Baal Shem Tov, the founder of Chassidism, he apparently took this even further, suggesting one should ideally avoid looking intensely even at, say, a Gentile or a wicked person, or even a mediocre person who wasn't deeply connected to holiness.
That sounds quite restrictive.
It does from a modern standpoint.
Yeah.
But the deep insight here isn't about prejudice, it's about absorption. The idea is we absorb what we see.
Ah, like influences.
Yes, looking at what is holy, what is refined,
Yeah.
awakens the soul, inspires it. But looking intently at what is coarse or spiritually disconnected can, the idea goes, actually coarsen our own inner perception.
So this type of non-seeing is really about protecting and refining the soul's sensitivity.
Exactly, like carefully filtering the information, the visual input that we allow into our deepest self.
Guarding the gates of the soul through the eyes.
You could put it that way.
Yeah.
Now this brings us to maybe the most advanced aspect of this.
Okay.
How one can have their eyes wide open, yet truly not see in the conventional sense, not be affected or distracted by the external world.
Right. How is that possible?
Our sources describe 2 powerful methods for achieving this kind of advanced state.
2 methods. What's the first?
The first is through inner preoccupation.
Inner preoccupation, meaning just being lost in thought.
Essentially, yes, but potentially much deeper. When your mind is deeply, intensely engaged, whether in profound thought or intense joy or even, significant personal trouble, your external perception naturally diminishes. You simply don't register the outside world as much because your internal world is so full, so compelling.
Right, like when you're really concentrating on a problem and someone speaks to you and you don't even hear them.
Exactly that phenomenon, but perhaps cultivated as a state. Think of the description of Abraham.
Okay.
Sometimes it says he had to actively raise his eyes to see what was happening around him.
Ah, implying his default state was inward.
Precisely. It suggests his usual state was one of such profound inner focus, such connection, that external sight became almost secondary. He had to make an effort to engage it.
Wow. So for us, this means what? Building strong inner structures.
Kind of. Building strong inner intellectual and emotional focus. filling our internal world with meaningful content so that we are less automatically drawn to external distractions.
Cultivating a rich inner life that naturally filters out the noise.
Exactly. That's the first method.
Okay, inner preoccupation. What's the second method?
The second method is what our sources call the external or circumferential viewpoint. In Hebrew, or makifif, encircling light.
Or makif. Encircling light. What does that mean?
Okay, imagine you're trying to navigate a city. If you're lost down in the narrow streets, you only see fragments, right? Confusing details, dead ends.
Yeah.
Easy to get lost.
But if you could float above the city, looking down on a map or a model.
You see the whole picture, the connections, the routes.
Exactly. You see the whole layout. That's the idea of or makif.
So it's like seeing from the outside.
Yes.
Ah.
There's internal light,
Yeah.
or mimi, where you see things as part of yourself. You're immersed within them. It's deeply personal. And then there's this circumferential light, or makif, where you see things from a more detached perspective, from above, so to speak.
And this isn't about feeling superior or arrogant.
No, not at all. It's just a different level, a different mode of perception. The Baal Shem Tov apparently spoke of those who dwell in the upper stories.
Upper stories.
Meaning people who tend to live primarily on this higher, more detached plane of perception. They only sort of descend into the details of the world when necessary.
Okay, can you give an example?
Sure. Think of an adult watching children play a game.
The children are completely immersed, right? They see only their immediate move, their toy, their friend's action. Very ornamy, very internal.
Totally absorbed.
But the adult, observing from the outside, sees the larger dynamics.
Right.
They might see the egos at play, the subtle motives, the potential for an argument brewing. They see the beginning and potential end of the game.
Ah, I see. The external view allows one to see the end from the beginning, understand the whole arc.
Exactly. You grasp the bigger picture.
And how does this help one not see while their eyes are open?
Because if you're operating from this or makif, this external viewpoint, the immediate details of the world don't necessarily grab you in the same way. You're not caught in the waves.
Yeah.
If you're only in the waves of life, you're constantly pulled by the currents, right? Feeling overwhelmed, reacting constantly.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
But if you can cultivate this ability to float above, to see from the or makif perspective, you can observe the currents, understand them, and then choose which ones to engage with. The sources use the idea of run and return, descend when needed, but return to the overview.
So you can avoid the negative currents and embrace the positive ones more consciously.
That's the potential, yes. Remember Abraham again. The texts say the Creator took him outside.
Outside?
Meaning lifted him above the normal constraints, the astrology or fate of the world. He wasn't subject to the usual laws in the same way.
He lived from that external perspective.
Right, like a stranger in a foreign land, physically present, but spiritually somewhat detached, observing with this external light.
Okay, that's a powerful image.
And this external view also allows us to see unity where others might just see division.
How so?
Well, from the outside, sometimes all similar groups look like one block, right? To an outsider, maybe all religious people seem the same, or all people from a certain country.
Right, you miss the internal distinctions.
Exactly. But from within, or Amy, you see all the intricate details, the individual differences, the nuances.
So the highest level isn't just being stuck in one view.
No. The highest level, our sources suggest, is being able to choose your perspective.
Ah, flexibility.
Yes, to zoom in and see the details when needed, or to zoom out and perceive the unifying whole.
Even to the point of not seeing anything specific, just the unity.
Potentially, yes. Simply by directing your inner vision, choosing whether to engage with the internal detailed view or the external unifying view.
Wow. That's a lot to take in.
It really is. This whole deep dive, it's completely transformed how I think about just seeing. It's so much more than just what our physical eyes register. It's a whole journey, isn't it? From the specific to the unified, from the physical to the spiritual.
It really is.
We've explored how focusing our gaze, or even consciously detaching it, like with that or Mokafif idea, can open doors to incredible insights.
Absolutely. This exploration really shows us that our perception isn't just a passive thing that happens to us.
Right, it's active.
It's a powerful tool. Something that can be refined, directed, elevated. We've seen everything from the practicalities of just maintaining a clean environment.
Yeah, surprisingly important.
To the deep spiritual discipline of focused meditation on a single point, or the kind of enlightened detachment of the circumferential view. Each method offers a path to deepen our connection with ourselves and ultimately with the source of it all.
So thinking about the listener now, how does this translate for you? As you go about your day, maybe after hearing this, how might your understanding of just seeing change? Could you perhaps try, even for a moment, to perceive the unity in a situation where you usually only see the conflicting parts?
Or the opposite, try practicing a moment of real focused attention on a single detail, maybe even just a dot on a page, like the gra.
And consider what hidden depths might lie within that single point.
It's a fascinating possibility. This ability to consciously direct our vision both inward and outward. It's a potent skill, and one that, as our sources powerfully suggest, can dramatically reshape our experience of the world and, indeed, our deepest self.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the really profound world of vision. It's been eye-opening, you could say.
Indeed.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and maybe most importantly, keep truly seeing.